Hi, my name is Jasmine, and I am from the United States. I received funding on September 29th, 2021, and I completed the evaluation within 6 months. I did the $50,000 funding account level, and I chose this account funding tier because this was the beginning of me actively trading futures, and I really wanted to solidify my trading approach as a beginner. And that trading approach can be defined as a mix between day trading and scalping. I first heard about OneUp Trader through an investing course that I took earlier in the year. One of those curriculum topics was futures, sort of what was a future, how you can trade futures, and different edges and techniques on trading different future instruments. And really what piqued my interest with OneUp Trader was the opportunity to really trade with someone else's money who had a larger margin than I personally did, because that really gave me a chance to actively trade every day and earn larger profits. I would absolutely recommend OneUp Trader to my trading friends, and I actually already have. Using OneUp Trader to me is a win-win situation where I have a real chance to make money while also honing in on my own trading techniques, since I have to follow certain rules with OneUp Trader and my funding partner. During my time completing the evaluation, the support team was definitely an aid to my journey. The few times that I did need support, I was always connected with a representative immediately, whether it was through an online chat or via email. And I always had my questions answered directly and thoroughly, and I appreciated the transcript after any interactions that I had to make sure that I could look back at that information for the questions that I needed answered. After receiving the "Congratulations, you're funded" email, I was completely set up with my contract signed for my funding partner to actually receiving the funds within a 24-hour period. I received the evaluation completion on a Wednesday, and by close of business Thursday, the following day, I had everything set up and the funds in my Ninja Trader account, and was able to start actively trading with my funded account by Friday morning. So it was a really quick and seamless process, which I appreciated. There were no hidden fees when I did get funded. I will say that you do need to note that when you do get funded, you as a trader are responsible for any platform fees. The platform that I use is Ninja Trader. So I did need to pay for a license key for Ninja Trader's platform, but that was expected, and I was aware of that prior to the evaluation. Yes, I did receive a warning once I was funded, and that was when I was close to my trailing drawdown limit. So it just gave me notice that I was nearing that limit. And for me, that sort of changed my trading approach to maybe trading micros for a little bit until I could build my account back up. I was first recommended to OneUp Trader. It was a very seamless process, very straightforward. And because of that, I never really looked anywhere else. So I don't actually have a comparison point for any other funding companies or platforms. If for whatever chance I need to go through the evaluation again, I would 100% use the OneUp Trader platform. So before entering any trade, I'm always calculating first, how much am I willing to risk based on the margin or the account balance that I have. Then I really look for indicators and edges on the respective instruments that I am trading on. Every trade, I always implement a stop loss to ensure that I'm managing my risk, but also locking in my profits when the trade goes in the direction that I intended for it to go. And with those indicators, I really do the kind of indicators that I look for when I am trading is really looking at what did the global market do the previous night before? I think that's the best indicator. Asia has a lot of the United States debt, so a lot of times, um, whatever the Asian market is doing, or sort of that overnight market is doing, it does give a pretty good indicator of how the U.S. market will respond throughout the day, and definitely provides me an edge. And each morning, I also look at the news that's coming out, because I always want to make sure that, again, I am managing my risk and giving myself the best chance to succeed and make profits. I don't necessarily have any goals around withdrawal amounts. However, I do have profit target goals. So for me, trading futures is definitely a long game strategy where I want to make 1% of my trading balance each day. So really slow and steady wins the race. However, I do know that I want to create a small cushion for myself in my funded account so that I can take regular withdrawals, maybe on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis, but also not put myself in jeopardy of always hitting the trail down target threshold. So on a typical trading day, my day begins really with affirmations. Afterwards, I look at the news and I really take notes on the times of the day that I want to be out of the market. I do not want to be in a market when there is a high news traffic area, because though there is a lot of volume and movement, you're sort of giving yourself a 50-50 chance. And I like my probability to be a little bit higher. I also, again, look at what the global market activity was from the previous night before. And then I can really, once I have all of that information, I can really look at the certain edges that I personally have learned through my trading course. And then the last step, really, it all comes down to risk management and making sure, again, that I am knowing how much money I can lose before I enter a trade, but also making sure that I'm locking in profits as that trade goes in the direction that I intended it to go. Overall, I would say that my OneUp Trader experience has definitely made me more consistent in my trading. By having rules that I have to follow to get funded, it definitely forces you to really make sure risk management parameters and tactics are enforced, and that you are getting more comfortable with varying or increased contract sizes during the evaluation period so that you can be just as confident when you get funded, but also um, so you can make more profit. Lastly, the advice that I would give other traders is really have patience, control your greed management, and really go slow and steady. Before starting your evaluation, you should really calculate, based on the funding level that you choose, how much money do you need to profit each trading day for those 15 days. If you sort of work backwards that way, I it's breaking down that larger goal into bite-sized pieces, and it definitely helps you know what profit target you need to go, and also aligns with you staying within the rules that you need to follow in order to get funded. But thank you. That's really my experience with OneUp Trader. I'm glad that I did it, and I will continue to recommend this platform to my trading friends or anyone that's interested. Thank you.